And here we go. We are now finally here in the grand finals of the Korean Starcraft League, week number 19, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Neo Humanity, we have the top two Zerg players. To be fair, we have the number 1 Zerg player in South Korea representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the other Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. It is Solar. Again, recently Solar has been getting the better of Dark. We saw Solar, of course, win in KSL number 10. We saw Solar overcome Dark at DreamHack Yongshipping as well, at ESL Masters Summer. Boy, so yeah, they have been going back and forth, maybe arguably Solar winning out on some of the more higher profile matches. And we'll see if that continues to be the case, as we do have hatch firsts all around. So very standard openers so far. Going to be a hatch gas pool from Dark. Should be the same from Solar. So gas is taken. Actually, can I double check that? Can I check the head-to-head between these two players? We have the technology. Just checking on Wikipedia. Alright, as we're just getting into hatch gas pool, again, standard stuff. Solar versus Dark. So recently, Solar did defeat Dark at ESL Masters Summer, but ever since then, oh my god, ever since then, Dark took down Solar in a best of 7 in the Wardy TV Spring Championship. Dark took him down in one of the more recent ESL Open Cup Asias as well. So it looks like ever since DreamHack, Dark has been fighting back and taking maps, taking series. Boy. So yeah, it's really cool to see that they're pretty back and forth in general. They're pretty similar in skill when it comes to their ZvZ, but we'll see how this all comes to pass. So far, nothing too crazy. Link speed is on the way. We did initially pull out of gas, and now we're pulling back in. Should be working on our third base, and should be working on some banelings as well, as we have loaded into Neo Humanity. Of course, the smallest map in the map pool. In ZvZ, this can lead to a lot of Ling Bane aggression. As I say that, Dark is looking to expand, but he is making a wave of Lings before that. Oh my god. So Solar's going to have to take the role of the defender here. We need that Baneling Nest. There we go, Baneling Nest is now on the way. Solar does get eyes on the third, so he's going to be taking his own, but Dark has a wave of Lings actually amassing back at home. Interesting. So he has his Lings split up between his natural and his main base. Dark hasn't droned in quite some time, so he's just going to Ling Flood. No Banelings. Pure Ling instead. Uh-oh. Ay. Now, thankfully, Solar isn't skipping his Baneling Nest. Looking at the vision here, Dark does spot that. He is aware that Solar will have Banelings to defend back at home, but he doesn't care. He doesn't flinch. He's going to be just sending everything across the map. The goal here is to deny the third. Dark is droning behind this. He's going to try to macro out of this once the assault does end. Here we go. The Lings do dive on forward. The Queens are in position. The Banelings are on the way. And I don't really see Dark finding too much damage here. He's being forced back. Oof. Gonna try to outposition his opponent. The Banelings do move out of position, but okay. Dark, he doesn't commit. Does pull back. Doesn't get the Queen either. So far, a solid defense here from Solar. He was able to keep up, and now the turns do table. Solar wants to be the aggressor. He has his own Lings on the way. Dark did throw down a Baneling Nest. We do have a couple of Banelings waddling on in, but no, they get caught out. Oh. Oh god, as Dark is still looking for some damage, doesn't quite find it. Meanwhile, oh god, he doesn't have much to defend back at home. He does have 4 Banelings morphing in. Up. Yeah, and the Banelings, they will find their connections. Dark is, for the most part, no, oh no, no! He's attacking the plates. A little bit of miscontrol. Dark will lose his Queen. Queen, it goes down, and yeah, Solar, he's snowballing out of control. He's breaking into the main base. GG gets called, and Solar will take game number 1. Oh, GG. Dark initializing the aggression with his Link Flood didn't really find too much damage, and Solar was more than willing to just meet him there in the Ling Bane fights. Unfortunately, a little bit of his control in the end there from Dark, targeting those plates instead. So a little bit of wasted DPS. Even if that wasn't happening though, I feel like Solar had a lot of momentum anyway. Solar was able to fight back and take game 1. Now we are diving into game number 2. I don't know how much we can really take from game 1 though, because it's Neo Humanity. It's a really unique map. I don't expect the other games to play out like that. As we are diving into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg representing Onside Game. Did I not say Dragon Kaiser? Onside Gaming. It is Solar. Did I say Onside twice? It's all blending together. I haven't eaten today, Fabi. I haven't eaten. It's almost 11 p.m. I'll order some food after this. Oh god. Ay. As Dark is going for a hatch first, and so is Solar. It's what we saw in the last game as well. Just because we have a hatch first doesn't mean that we're going to get a standard game. At any moment, a player can cut workers and just go for a mass Link Flood across the map. Can happen, and Royal Blood isn't the largest map either. It can be prone to aggressive styles as well from our players. We'll see. We shall see. Just a hatch gas pool to kick things off from Dark. Same for Solar. We'll be settling on into this. And there's definitely a lot of variety here in ZvZ as well. Both of these players are more than willing to go for like 2-base play and 2-base Roach as well. We have seen that out of Solar. Mutas, whenever a player can try to squeeze them out. We actually casted Dark versus Mio Micah earlier today, and we saw Dark make great use of Mutas against Mio. But of course, Mio actually forced Dark to go to the ace match as well. So, we have seen him fall to Zerg players already today. Has shown that. We even saw that in game 1. Yeah, ZvZ can be really chaotic. ZvZ can also be, I know, it can have a reputation of being a little bit dull in Roach v Roach. I do see that happening from time to time. I like to believe that we're not going to see that out of Solar and Dark, but we'll see. I feel like you see that a lot more in European ZvZ. That's also why there's like the sentiment amongst a lot of the European pros that they hate playing against the Korean pros in ZvZ, because like the Koreans are that much more aggressive and they're more willing to like cut workers and go for these like weird offbeat like Roach timings or Link Floods. Dark, Solar, Ragnarok, they have that reputation. As Dark this time is going for a standard timing with his Baneling Nest. Third base is on the way for both players as well. Solar likewise not going to be skipping out on that Baneling Nest either. So this time everything is looking standard. This time everyone is droning. There's no weird Link Flood. Not yet. That of course can all change once the third bases are getting up and running. Either one of these players could try and threaten the third of their opponents, and there we go. We have 12 Lings in production for Dark. Dark once again wants to be the aggressor. Likewise, Solar also has his own Lings on the way. Once the Baneling Nest finishes, we should be morphing in some Banelings back at home. I love this from Dark. He always does this, and Solar catches him. This is the Dark move. Dark, more often than not in ZvZ, he tries to hide 2 Banelings on the left-hand side, and while he harasses your third base, he waddles the Banelings into the natural. It's beautiful whenever it happens, but Solar, he knows. He was looking specifically for that, and he catches it. So he knows how Dark plays. It's crazy. As Solar is able to defend his third, Dark going to try and rotate around. Behind this, we have a Roach Warren already on the way, so Dark is transitioning. Oof. We're both playing with fire right now. Dark trying to zone away those Banelings, trying to dive into the natural, and we do see Dark gonna be trading with some larva. Not a bad connection there from Dark. Making out quite a lot of larva. Meanwhile, it does feel like Dark is setting up to be quite committed with this Roach push. The reason why I say that is because Dark doesn't have an Evo Chamber. Solar is going to be ahead in upgrades with +1 range on the way. Oh my god, no way! There were 2 Lings in the main! Oh my god. Dark, he loses 6 drones in his main base to a Waddle by. I noticed the Link slip in earlier, but I thought they went down. But yeah, Solar, he morphed Banelings into the main base of Dark. Now he knows, he realizes. Dark falling behind in the drone count once again. He's going to try and go for a run by, and he's going to be able to catch a Queen at least. So he's finding some damage. Solar was out of position. We do see a couple more drones are being focused down. Banelings are being set up for that run by. Roaches are being produced back at home as well for Dark. No upgrades. No lair. There we go. Dark. This time he's like, mate, you you want to do me dirty with a Baneling Waddleby in my own main base? He's going for the same thing against Solar. Trades Bane for Bane. It looks like Solar did catch those Banelings, did force a denial on 2 of them. Yeah, on all of them. So he won't get done dirty. Solar does defend. We have a lair on the way. We're taking additional gases. No lair from Dark. And things are going to be settling down. Again, Solar is in a much better position overall. We can see Dark just trying to Maynard his drones over. Saturate his 3rd. But Solar has been mining more for longer. He has better upgrades. He's already got +1 range. He's going to have a faster lair, which means faster +2. Dark can overcome this with run-bys and with counterattacks. But it's going to be difficult here for Dark. Oh, with this advantage, Solar, he even heads towards the Spire as well. He has the freedom to do so. Mutas are going to be on the way. 4th base as well from Solar, even prioritizing the gases as well. Oh my god. Dark is doing Solar is doing so much with this lead, and Dark is just stuck at home. Dark is making a wave of overlords. It looks like Dark may be looking to hit a timing with +1 in range. And +1 in speed. I'm curious to see if Dark drones up this 4th. He's going to be revealing a 4th, but I don't know if he intends to drone up anymore from here. Yeah, Dark, he's just making nothing but roaches. Meanwhile, Solar did end up droning a little bit more than his opponent. Dark goes into the main. He scouts the Spire. He's where the mutas. And as soon as he sees the Spire, he just moves out across the map. He's going for it. Dark is ahead in army supply. He has more roaches than Solar. Again, Solar was droning. He was teching. Maybe being a little bit too greedy. Boy, we'll see if Dark can bust on through. Again, the pressure is on Dark. He's throwing down the Hydrogen behind this. Again, he saw the Spire earlier. He knows. And he can't push up this ramp. The mutas have arrived. And this is going to force Dark's hand. Again, he does have a larger Roach army, so he's busting on through. But how much damage can he get done before he loses all of his Roaches? That's the question. As he's getting a surround, he's cleaning up the entire army here of Solar. He's able to split up, and he's going to get some economic damage done. He gets into that 3rd base. Reinforcements are on the way, though, and he doesn't kill the Queen. No way. No shot. The Queen survives. The workers survive as well. Dark, he doesn't get a single worker. A single drone. I'm shocked. I'm a little bit shocked by that, not gonna lie. Solar, he defends without losing anything. The mutas are out. He's forcing Dark back. Overlords are going to get picked off as well. Dark is working towards Hydras, but he has no map control, not anymore. Hydras are arriving. Going to be able to force Solar back. But from here, Solar should just be making nothing but Roach Ravager. The mutas, they force a reaction. They force the fight. The mutas have done their job. Yeah, GG gets called, and Solar takes game number 2. Oh my god. GG. Beautiful defense out of Solar. Not just defense, but his ability to counterattack as well. I mean, we missed it on screen, but there was that Baneling Waddle by into the main base of Dark, just getting him further ahead in the economy. Oh my god. GG. And now Solar is one game away from taking the series and becoming this week's champion. The pressure is now on Dark. Pressure is on. And again, even though Dark, he saw the Spire and he was going to be hitting with his Roaches with upgrades, he was already so far behind anyway. Behind in the upgrades, behind in the economy. Wasn't able to stop his opponents. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player currently down in this series. One game away from being eliminated from the series being over. He needs to bring it back here and now. It is Dark. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. One game away from becoming this week's champion. From taking down Dark in a clean sweep 3-0, it is Solar. Hi. Here we go. Once again, hatch first. Hatch first from both of our players. Hatch gas pool is I think where my brain was going. Standard openers. Oh boy, and maybe Dark needs to calm down. So far, both games, Dark has been really aggressive. Also in Game 1, sure. Game 1, Dark went for a Link Flood. Game 2, everything was looking normal up until the third base, and then we saw Dark just be hyper-aggressive with his own Link Bane, trying to force, or trying to get a denial of the third of Solar, and trying to get economic damage done. But Solar defended beautifully. Now Dark may be backing off. He may be going for more defensive play. I would assume so. We'll see. See what he goes for. On a map like Babylon, 2-base Roach would make sense because you have a ramp coming into the natural, so you have a much more defensive position here at that natural base. Babylon is pretty small. It does favor aggression. So there's also that avenue as well for Dark if he wants to try to punish this third base. But do you want to risk it when you're down 2-0 in this series? I don't know. I mean, Dark, he can be really chaotic. Like, he can be like Maru, where he's down in a series 0-2 and then he cheeses anyway. Like, Maru does that. Dark is willing to do that stuff as well. So far, though, everything's normal. Everything's standard. Oh, okay. As we are staying in gas, should be working towards the Baneling Nest soon. Third base on the way. Just like game number 2. Third base all around, and I don't expect anyone to skip their Baneling Nest either. It's something you can do, definitely, if you want to be a little bit greedy and if you want to, like, kind of bait your opponent into being aggressive. But nah, no one's that risky. No one's that crazy. Everyone throws down their Baneling Nest on time. And is Dark gonna make a flood of Lings again? That's the question. that's the question that we have to ask ourselves. Is he gonna try and punish the third base of Solar, or has he learned his lesson after failing to do so 2 games in a row? Ah, we're making the Lings. Let's go. We're actually making far fewer Lings this time. We only have 8 Lings in production. So not too many. Dark is focusing on droning. Yeah, there we go. We have a Roach Warren on the way from both players. So Dark is going to assert himself with a handful of Lings, but again, he's not really committing to this. as Dark does slip on into the natural base. He does get eyes on that Roach Warren. Saw the Evo Chamber as well. Meanwhile, Solo's going for an all-in. I assume so. He has Roaches on the way. He cancelled that Evo Chamber, keeping it hidden from Dark. Was that an Evo or was that a second Roach Warren? Not too sure. But here we go. Solo's going to be pushing out across map. Dark, because he went for a fast Roach Warren as well, he will have Roaches to defend. He has a Spine Crawler on the way. He's aware that he's in danger. So again, the roles have kind of been reversed here. Dark will be the defender instead. And he should have enough to hold on, especially with the Spine Crawler, with the Roaches coming out. Yeah, Solar is forced back. Thankfully, he doesn't commit. He recognizes that I can't quite take this fight. Not anymore. He is going to back off. He's going to look to saturate his base. Dark with a worker lead. Dark pushing out as well. A little bit surprised by this. Dark is going to be careful. Yeah, it looks like he's just posturing. He was just showing the move out to this Overlord, hoping to force more Roaches out of Solar, and he did, by the way. Did force a reaction out of Solar. He just backs off, and Dark's just been droning this entire time. Does feign that aggression. And now we're both going to be just saturating our third bases. +1 range on the way. Layers as well, additional gases. Things are going to be settling down. Things will be settling. With Dark having a drone lead after the failed push of Solar. And we'll see what he does with that lead. Solar's still just doubling down on Roach Tech. And it looks like so is Dark. Both players taking all of their gases. Dark takes all 6 gases, so with this he could actually try to maybe go for a Spire of his own. But Solar's looking for that. As soon as the layer is done, he morphs in an Overseer and he's looking for any kind of Spire or Hydroden or anything out of the norm. Changeling gets shut down. Overseer gets forced out. And we're just making Roaches. We're finally getting into that Roach v Roach. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. But Dark is up 10 drones. He's got a 4th base on the way. This is almost like the reverse of Game 2, actually. Where Solar just had like a really big economic lead after Dark's failed aggression and it just snowballed out of control. And that's kind of happening here. Like Dark, with his advantage, he's actually throwing down a lot of Spine Crawlers. Looks like he was able to recognize how large the army was of Solar. He's getting ready for the assault. What Solar lacks in drones, he makes up for in army. And Dark is taking this very seriously. Got 2 more spines on the way. Oh, there's a bit of a Ling run by that slips into the main. This is getting damage done. At the same time, Solar is going to be threatening that 3rd base as well. While some of them will be connecting, but for the most part, Dark with the defender's advantage with the reinforcements, he's going to be able to push this back. But he is losing a lot of mining in the main. And that's only a handful of Lings. Meanwhile, Solar is pushing on through. He is gaining ground at least a little bit. He takes down the Queen. The spines are being repositioned. And we have a wave of reinforcements for both players. Dark trying to hold on. And so far the control is good. Darky pulls back the weakened Ravagers. Keeps them alive. Oh god, he's diving on this army again. It does feel so close, but as Dark holds, he's able to regain control of his main base. Is back to mining. Spines avoiding the biles. Oh my god. Dark getting the most out of his units, the best he can. Dark's still behind in army supply. He's still on the back foot. But he's barely holding on. He takes down the last Ravager. No more biles are available for Solar, and Solar is droning. Just trying to transition out of this. +1 range on the way. Dark, as he defends, he throws down a Spire. Does that get scouted? Solar doesn't see the Spire. Ling got in, but didn't get the full scout. Solar's doubling down on roaches. He's going for Tunneling Claws, Burrow, and +2. And this is dangerous because Solar is focusing on droning right now. Because he was pretty committed, he's just hyper fixated on droning, on expanding, on taking other bases. If he isn't active with his army, then Dark is going to get away with these mutas. Once again, the Overseer is denied entry into the main. The Changelings are headed towards the natural and third instead, which means the Spire doesn't get scouted. Oh. We have a second Overseer coming in. Solar really trying to figure out what's going on. And finally, Solar is going to get eyes on the Spire, but it's too late. The Spire is done, and 6 mutas are on the way. Solar throws down that Hydra Den. But because of the delayed scout, it does mean that the mutas are going to get map control. Oh, we have an Overseer. The Tunneling Claw roaches have been spotted. So far, they're doing a good job at just avoiding the army here of Dark. The mutas have hit the field. Is forcing Solar back home. And so far, we've gotten 1 Overlord. We're going to get a second. We're denying a lot of vision here, a lot of map awareness of Solar. Oh, the Biles! Are going to be dodged. Dark makes it into the main. His main army is being pushed back, and I don't think he really wants to take a fight right now. Solar has the upgrade advantage. Dark is getting damage done, but so is Solar. He goes for that Tunneling Claw Roach Harass. The mutas are being caught out. Uh-oh. Dark is losing a little bit too much. But he goes for a massive Roach counterattack. He doesn't need Burrow. Oh my god. He dives into the natural base. At the same time, the main army is pushing on forward as well, and Solar's being caught out. He hasn't been able to split up his army well enough. Yeah, Solar will be losing his force here at the 4th. Meanwhile, the Roaches of Dark go all the way into the main. 4th base will go down. Drones as well. Solar, he's just, yeah, having a really hard time splitting up his army. He doesn't just lose a base, he loses 18 drones. Ay. Everything was going Solar's way. Like, legit. Everything was going his way. Until this one move where Dark just goes for a massive run by a massive counterattack, forces Solar out of position, and now suddenly he's hurting. He's down in workers, down in army. He's going to be catching some Roaches and Ravagers here in the center of the map, which is good. But with the defender's advantage, Solar, he can't push up this ramp. He's going to try to... He's going to try to force his way in. He edges closer here to the 4th base. Does force Dark to evacuate. Yeah, 4th is going to go down. Dark being really respectful. Doesn't engage. Until he has enough. As Dark is catching up in those upgrades. Again, these Hydras aren't ideal. They're good against the mutas, and I believe every single muta did go down. But in a head-to-head fight, Roach Ravager is better than Roach Hydra. And Dark has been able to remax. Solar still stuck with a subpar army. Lurker Gen is on the way. If Solar can get into Lurkers and he can hold on. But can he though? As Dark is in his face. Forcing his way through with those biles. Just creating room for himself. We do have another Roach run by being set up. But the biles are connecting and the main army of Solar, it is falling. Like Dark is working his way through the Roaches and now he's getting on top of the Hydras. We do have that Roach counterattack, which is getting some damage done. But the third base has been broken, and without the third, Solar, he can't get into the Lurkers. The Lurker Den is done, but all the Hydras have gone down. GG gets called, and Dark fights back, putting a point on the board, taking game number 3. GG. We have a series. I was really concerned that we were going to get another 3-0. Remember the last time that Dark and Solar faced in the finals of KSL, it was a 3-0 in favor of Solar. But this time, Dark is fighting back. Oh, at least putting a point on the board. He's still up against the ropes, though. He's still up against the wall. Solar still only needs one more game to become this week's champion. Game 4 is going to take place on Gressvan. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Gressvan. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Z Gaming. Putting a point on the board and making this a series, but he still needs to win this game to force the ace match. It is Dark. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. It is Solar. One game away from taking the series, from becoming this week's KSL champion. We saw that so far the aggressive player in the early to mid game hasn't had too much success. We saw Dark taking the role of the defender in game number 3 there, was able to pull it back. We'll see if that's gonna, in a way, impact how these players approach Gressvan. As we have hatch firsts once again. And Gressvan, even more so than Babylon, I do think it's a better defensive map as well. It's because of all the choke points, because of all the ramps. So I do think taking things a little bit more slow would be wise here for Solar. I mean, I don't blame him. He was up 2-0 earlier, so it makes sense to just ramp things up and try to overwhelm and overcome Dark in game 3. But after that didn't work out, I would hope to see Solar just calm down. I'd hope so anyway. So Dark is setting up his hatch gas pool likewise. Well, same, so is Solar. Standard economic openers from both players. As we get into this. Now, Gressvan, the rush distance by ground isn't too long. We have seen decent creep highway set up as well. You can go for something like a 2-base Roach all in. You can set up a creep highway. You can hit with +1 carapace as well. I know that that was really trendy a couple of months ago. Nowadays, we don't really see it that much. Maybe like once a week or something like that. Yeah, the +1 carapace all-ins have fallen off in ZvZ. For those wondering, you would cut workers really early on, at most 40 workers, typically less so than that. You just go massling Roach with +1 carapace. The reason for that is because carapace kind of nullifies the effectiveness of defensive banelings. It means that banelings, you need 2 banelings to kill a ling. So you just go for a big Roach push, you reinforce with lings, and you overwhelm the opposing Zerg player. And that was really popular at the start of the year. But over time, that kind of, because it was so popular, like it became a lot more easier, or players were getting better at actually recognizing and scouting it and realizing what was going on. They were a lot more attentive to scout it, I should say. And because it is all in, you just need to set up defensively, get some spine crawlers, invest even more heavily in your defensive banelings, and yeah, because of that, we don't really see it too often anymore. As Solar is going for a bit of a faster Evo chamber. Interesting. Dark instead going straight into that Roach Warren, hidden behind the natural base. Uh-oh. Both players going for their third bases on time. No one skipped the Bailey Nest. It's going to be a fast +1 range here from Solar. Oh my, interesting. I assumed it would be +1 carapace, not going to lie. Yeah, Solar's just going to be droning up, just getting a really fast upgrade for his Roaches. Roach Warren on the way far later than Dark's. But if Dark does go for an early Roach push, then Solar will have, or should have his Roach Warren done in time for it. Oh, as Solar does dip in, and he does get eyes on that Roach Warren. He's aware that Dark can hit him a little bit faster. Likewise, Dark also scouts how late the Roach Warren is for Solar in comparison. And Dark isn't really going to do anything with this. He is moving out, yes, but he's droning up behind this. So it looks like we saw this in the last game, actually. We saw this when Dark, he pushes out, but he doesn't actually commit to engaging at the third. He just threatens a push and then pulls back. And imagine that's what we're going to be seeing here. Imagine we don't want to throw away the Roaches. Yeah, there we go. As Dark just feigns aggression, he fakes out an attack, and he does pull back. The goal there is to try to make your opposing player not make drones and actually overreact and make Roaches. And as a result, Dark's pretty far ahead drone-wise. You can see Solar trying to catch back up. Did force Solar to make Roaches early on, even though he didn't need these Roaches at all. They could have been more drones. They could have been, you know, a faster fourth base. Faster gases. You can see Solar doing a similar thing, pushing out with his own Roach army. Then does back off. Oh, Solar actually could be rushing into a Spire. Okay. Interesting. So, in the past, so far this series, whenever someone goes for a Spire, it's because they're ahead. Usually that has been like their time to go for that Spire play. But Solar's going for one now, which is going to be a bit of a risky move. Especially considering he's on par with Dark at the moment. Both players are working on their fourth bases. Dark reading his opponent so well, Dark hasn't seen the Spire, by the way, but Dark is already working on a Hydra Den. Both players going for that scout. The Overseer of Solar is going to go down because Dark had 2 queens in the main. Meanwhile, Dark is going to get the scout off. Yeah, Changeling did see the Spire. Dark is going to be feeling pretty good about this Hydra Den. Pretty damn good. Quickly checking the vision. Solar was able to see the Hydra Den as well. So Solar should know not to overinvest in mutas. 5 mutas is okay. 5 mutas do one-shot a worker. So they are ideal to harass. But we're only making 5 mutas. Solar's going to be focusing a lot more on Roach Ravager instead. Which again is probably a wise choice. So the scouting on point for both players. But I would say that Dark is now ahead. Hydra tech is better if we're going for a longer game because Hydras lead to Lurkers, and Lurkers are just like the late game units in ZvZ. They completely shut down Roach play. We'll see. So far the mutas, they do take down an Overlord. We'll be rotating over towards the third base as well. They catch, they don't quite catch a Hydra. Again, Solar's just trying to keep Dark busy back at home. Oof. But Solar does lose one of his mutas, and there's that Lurker Den that we were talking about. So Dark is transitioning, he's getting ready for the late game of ZvZ. Solar is not there at all. If Solar gives Dark time, then Dark will outscale Solar. But Solar's working on a big push. Oh my god, that's a lot of Banelings. Solar wants to end the game before things go on that long. The Banelings aren't a good unit against roaches, but they are good against hydras. If they can make it, if they can get that far. Here we go. Dark is waiting on top of the ramp. He has the concave. The Banelings, they crash into the roaches. They're trying to get on top of those hydras, and they will get on top of some of them. That was a big commitment from Solar, and he doesn't break the defenses. He doesn't break through. Uh-oh. Not a good start here for Solar. He's remaxing on roaches. Lurker Den is now done, and immediately we should be seeing some lurkers on the way for Dark. There we go. Lurkers are in production. Now we only have 2 hydras because the rest died to the Banelings. But we only need a handful of lurkers to just force back the roach player. You can see Soul trying to make his way in. We do have mutas in the main as well, but queens are rotating over to defend. The lurkers have arrived. Oh, the biles. Not enough biles to take down the lurker. Dark, wise choice. He does split up his lurkers to make sure that in case biles do connect, he'll still have them alive. There we go. More lurkers on the way. Now, Sol is being he's being stubborn. He's not taking up into lurkers himself or into a hive for vipers. He's just going pure roach ravager. What it means is that Sol is putting himself on a timer. The longer this game goes on, the better it is for Dark. Solar wants to try to break Dark before this gets out of hand. More lurkers are coming out. It's not getting easier. Oh my god, the spines are crazy! Oh, the amount of DPS on the Roach army of Solar is insane, and Dark is pushing Solar back. That was not the fight that he wanted. Solar's army melted trying to bust through this position, trying to fight in range of those lurkers. And again, Solar just refusing to tech into lurkers of his own or tech into a hive. Dark was able to beat him to that lurker tech, and now the lurkers are across the map. Now they're just pushing into the bases of Solar. He cannot keep up. The biles, they connect as well. GG gets called, and Dark ties up the series 2-2, forcing the ace match. GG. Ugh. GG, well played. The power of the lurker, Bobby, in ZvZ. Yeah, it does just shut down roach play almost completely. Almost. You can make roach ravager work, but you are heavily reliant on your biles connecting with the lurkers, or at least forcing them to unsiege and forcing them to back off. Is a really difficult playstyle, a really difficult way to try and fight against lurker play. Not impossible, just really difficult. As we saw there, Solar just wasn't quite able to pull it off. He was able to snipe a couple of lurkers with his mutas, but that was all he could do. And now, we have an ace match. We have a game 5. Solar not afraid to meet him in the late game. He didn't want it. He didn't want the late game at all. Which I don't blame him. Lurker versus Lurker is an acquired taste. A lot of Zerg players do not enjoy playing Lurker versus Lurker. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. It's like TVT. It's like it's like Biotank versus Biotank. As here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have the South Korean Zerg player fighting back in this series, putting 2 points in the board, forcing the ace match, representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. He's been so close. He still only needs one more to take the series, to become this week's champion. But now it all comes down to this. Comes down to game 5. It is Solar. Onsen Kaiju Gaming. You said it correctly. Hi. Not like this. Not like this. Bane drops are the funniest way to challenge lurkers. I haven't seen that before. That sounds crazy. I think I've seen Bane drops against like Hydra, like Roach Hydra. I have seen that. Against lurkers, that's wild. Oh my god. But maybe. As we're getting into the ace match, into game 5. Oh boy. But yeah, we'll see how Solar approaches this now. We're on Ancient Cistern, a much larger map in the map pool. It's a little bit more wide open. So Gressvan is typically a map where you can rush lurkers just because there are fewer attack paths, and on top of that, there are a lot of choke points to take advantage of. So we have seen Dark time and time again rush into lurkers on Gressvan specifically. On a map like Ancient Cistern, I do think that it's a little bit more difficult to pull off, just because there are so many different avenues of attack, and it can be a little bit more difficult to make sure you're in position early on before you hit critical mass of lurkers. So we'll see. We'll see if the game does head in that direction. As both players go for hatch gas pools once again. Yeah, I understand. I would say it's good. Let's say it's fun. Yeah, 100%. I'm on board with you on that. Sounds very entertaining. Sounds entertaining. In general, I've said this before, I feel like drop play is underutilized in ZvZ. You see it every now and then, like, Cyril does it. Eric, of course, Eric does it. But yeah, you don't see enough of drop play, especially considering for so much of the game you don't have too much anti-air. So there's a lot you can do with it. Definitely a lot you can do. As both players are taking their third bases on time, Bailey Ness on the way from both players as well. Everything is looking normal for the time being. Everything is looking standard. Things across the map, just trying to get some scouting information. Dark, he does see the Bailey Ness at least, so he knows that Solar isn't cutting any corners. Solar has a bit of a lead when it comes to chipping away at this third. Quite a lot of damage was done. We'll see if he commits, as we do have another wave of Lings on the way. Not too many, though. Not too many. Solar still focusing on droning. Bailey's in production. For both players. And Dark, once again, is going for a very fast Roach Warren hidden behind the mineral line. Solar, on the other hand, is going for a faster Evo Chamber. If you remember, in that last game, Solar did have faster +1 range. So he could be going for that once again. Going for the upgrade lead instead. And there we go, just like that last game, it is +1 range. So this is looking, at least the openers here are just exactly the same as game number 4 on Gressvan. Ooh. As Dark does end up losing his defensive bailing, so a good trade for Solar. Not the biggest of deals, but, you know, a good trade nonetheless. Dark is amassing roaches back at home. He's cutting workers really early on at 36. Oh, Solar, he tries to go for a scout. He needs to see this third base. He needs to recognize that we have not saturated the third at all, as Dark is going all in. Uh-oh. Solar still in the dark. Okay, the Overlord does see all the roaches. Solar now knows what's going on. He does have a drone lead. I would love spine crawlers. Without spines, I don't know if Solar can hold. He's going to be heavily reliant on his bailing connections. Here we go. Roaches are coming out. Queens are being brought forward. Solar just giving up his third base. At least giving up with his drones. He does pull back. Queens are being brought forward. No bailings available here for Solar. Looking at the unit count here, looks like Solar, he has a pretty comparable Roach army. He is forcing Dark back. And Dark is going to drone. Dark is going to back off. He's going to drone up. He's going to be behind in the upgrades as a result, just because he was so committed to that push. And Solar was mining more for longer. He was forced to pull away, but that was just for a moment. As Solar actually isn't droning. He may just be making roaches because he feels like his opponent is. But the longer this goes on, the worse this is going to be for Solar, because Dark is just saturating his third. He's taking gases. Solar is not. Oh boy. Yeah, no. We have 18 more Lings on the way. Solar, he's banking up his army here behind his, or in his natural. And here we go. Solar is pulling the trigger. It's going for a massive counterattack. Dark taking this very seriously. We have 2 Spine Crawlers on the way. We have Banelings on the way as well to help defend against the Lings. Solar is so committed with this. Dark has the concave. He has the defender's advantage. Lings are going for this round, but we have the Banelings. Oh, 2 Banelings. Oh, sorry, 1 Baneling does go down instantly. We have 2 more left. Looking for those connections, and we do find them. Big connections on those Lings. The Lings, they get annihilated. Now it's just about the Roach v Roach. Spine Crawler helping out in the back line. Yeah, Dark is pushing this back. He did lose 7 drones. We actually evened up the worker count. And Solar is droning. But as he drones, Dark, he's got a Spire on the way. He's going into mutas. I mean, Dark did have a faster lair. It's something that Solar did not have at all. That's how committed he was. And because he's droning, Dark is going to get away with these mutas. Like, I don't see Dark dying anytime soon to any kind of push, just because Solar is focusing on getting his economy back on track. Ugh. Yeah, Solar's in a really rough position. That's because he delayed so much for that push. And once the mutas come out, it's going to give Dark so much more freedom in this game. And here we go. Solar is looking for that scout. Here diving on in. Even if he sees it, I don't know if Solar can do much about it though. As there actually is no queen in the main, so Solar is going to get the scout off. He is going to get eyes on the Spire. He's aware that mutas are on the way. And he responds immediately with a Hydra Den. We're going to work on Hydras, Spores. Solar trying to react in time. He's pulling back his overlords as well. Some of them. Most of them. And we'll see how hard Dark commits to this. Looking at the units tab, Dark, he's only making 6 mutas. So similar to the last time we saw mutas from Solar. This is just enough to... Or from Dark even. This is just enough to one-shot workers or just for map control. Dark is focusing on Roach Ravager from this point. And again, this is kind of a role reversal of Gressman, because now Solar has, in a way, kind of better tech. He has Hydras. If he wants to, he can be the one to tech into Lurkers first. Which I think would be a wise choice. For the time being, Solar, he's just working on his own fort. Mutas have been revealed. But no Lurker Den out of Solar. Which is a little bit concerning. It means he's going to be going Roach Hydra instead. Solar's still making Hydras actually, which is not the best move right now. To be fair, he doesn't know whether or not Dark is making more mutas. We can see that Dark isn't. Dark is just focusing on Roach Ravager. So the more Hydras that Solar makes, the worse his army becomes. Unless he has Lurkers. There we go. It's a little bit delayed, but Lunker Gen is on the way. I do worry though, because Dark is maxed. He's maxed out on Roach Ravager. He's going to be hitting before the Lurker Den is done, or before Lurkers hit the field. And here we go. Half the army does get caught out. It's a really awkward fight for Solar. Trying to push up this ramp. Vials are going to be zoning him away, and Dark is forcing his way towards the fort. Oof. Solar is going to be able to force this back. But again, it was a really awkward fight. Meanwhile, reinforcements are being sent towards the third base. Solar cutting up his own army. Uh-oh. Just being outpositioned. And he's losing a lot of Ravagers. He's losing Hydras. You can see a Ling run by. It's going to be distracting Dark for a little bit, but for the most part, these are efficient trades. Dark, he's getting on top of the Hydras once again. We can see Solar plummet in the supply. Dark just fighting more efficiently, having better engagements, having better positioning. And he's not going to stop. He's just going to keep on pushing. Meanwhile, now is the moment when Solar needs to morph in some Lurkers. Lurker Den is done, but he's refusing to do so. There we go. 2 Lurkers on the way. Are they going to come out in time? Four Lurkers in production. They're at the 4th base of Solar, so they're going to have to rotate over. Yeah, they are on the way. Solar, with these Lurkers, he should be able to hold on. We can see Dark is trying to avoid those spines. Is headed behind the 3rd base. Oh, but Dark is going to be forced back. The Lurkers, they hold on, Bobby. They hold. You can see Dark trying to squeeze out a little bit more value here, but... And he does get a Lurker, to be fair. And we can see Dark, yeah, he's... See, unlike Solar in the last game, Dark is willing to go to the late game. He's like, okay, let's go. Lurker v Lurker. Hive in production for Dark. Hive done now for Solar as well. We can see Dark still being very active with his army. Just trying to make Solar as uncomfortable as possible. Now with the Hive tech, Solar's going to be able to get into faster Lurker upgrades. Oh, there's only 1 Lurker in position, by the way. Solar being caught out a little bit. Does end up losing that Lurker. He's down to only 3. This Dark continues to rotate between the bases. Yeah, even goes for the Biles as well. And remember, in the midst of all this aggression, in the midst of Dark, like, trading well, getting a couple of drones here and there, sniping Lurkers, he's getting into his own Lurker Den. Oof. He's just not allowing Solar to breathe. Lurker Den on the way. And every time it feels like Solar's losing like 1 or 2 Lurkers, like here as well. Oh god! Lurker goes down. He's not hitting critical mass. He's getting there though. I think we're up to 8 Lurkers. With Solar, he's getting a much more heavily fortified position. But as Solar, as he deals with these pushes, as he keeps up with the movement of Dark, Vipers are on the way. And Vipers are the answer to Lurkers. They can Blinding Cloud, they can Abduct. Oh my god! As Solar takes Biles to the face. Ay, ay, ay. Once again being caught out. Not like this. The Vipers have arrived. They're gathering energy in the main base of Dark. Yeah, a couple more Roaches here and there go down. Like, the Lurker count from Solar is looking pretty good, to be honest. But without Vipers, he won't have a way to counteract the army of Dark. Soul's being very aggressive with these Lurkers. The Vipers have arrived. We have the Blinding Clouds. We have the Abducts. Dark is going to be able to chase this down. Oh. 2 more Lurkers go down. And as long as we have the energy for it, Dark, he's going to be able to pick apart the army of Solar. Dark needs time, though. Oh my god. Dark needs time, and we are hitting critical mass of lurkers. Massive volleys go off. Look at the unit tab. We have 13 lurkers for Solar. Jesus. We saw how they annihilated that wave of roaches. Solar's pushing on forward. But here we go. The abducts have arrived. And the blinding clouds. GG gets called. Solar knows he just can't keep up. The trades are too efficient, and Dark does it. He fights the reverse sweep. The reverse all kill. Dark wins 3 games in a row. And he's going to be this week's KSL champion. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Solar, sure, he was able to rush into lurkers, but Dark was able to rush into vipers. The checkmate was real. Aye, aye, aye. GG, well played. Congratulations. Congratulations. Dark fights back. He does. Well, he's gonna be this week's KSL champion. After I almost counted him out. Like, Solar was up 2-0. He was up 2-0. He had such a commanding lead in this series. Game 3 was a little bit rough for Solar. If you remember, he tried to go for an all-in of his own and was kind of caught with his pants down. But that was fine. But here in Game 4 and Game 5, I feel like it really showcases Dark's, like, his prowess in late game ZvZ. I want to say he has some of the best late game ZvZ in the world. I think it's on par with Serral. I think we saw Dark versus Serral. I think we saw that at ESL Masters Summer. And we got to see that kind of come to fruition. And I want to say Serral did end up beating Dark, but it was still really close between them. And yeah, Dark, like, if you give this man some Vipers, give him some Lurkers as well, like, he is so damn good at just handling that kind of army. GG, well played. I think I would be comfortable in saying that he at least has the best late game ZvZ in Korea. I think I would go that far. In the world, he has one of the best. Congratulations. And with that, we have reached the end of the broadcast, the end of this replay cast. Hopefully the last replay cast for KSL for a while. We will be able to cast KSL 20 live. It's going to be on Saturday. This Saturday in a couple of days. It's not that far away. In 2 days and just under 48 hours, we're going to be live here on this channel casting KSL week number 20. So no replay cast that time. No replay cast. So yeah, make sure you tune in. Make sure you follow the channel if you're interested in watching the next edition of this tournament. For those wondering, this is a weekly this is a weekly tournament. A weekly event is, of course, organized by Dave Tesla and Chicken Man, and it is funded by the community, by the Patreon, !KSL in the chat if you are interested in supporting this event, and if you want the replays. I believe replay packs are provided to the patrons, so you can get your hands on them, and you can, watch these games yourself. You can learn from them. You can try to apply some of the play of these players to your own play as well. So yeah, definitely some value to be had in that Patreon. So make sure you check it out. A lot of love to Chicken Man and Dave Tesla for taking the initiative to actually make this event and make it possible. Without them, KSL wouldn't be a thing, and the Korean scene would be far worse off for it. So yeah, really, really good stuff. A lot of love to Dave and Chicken Man. Oh. And yeah, with that, we're done here for today. And we're not going to be casting tomorrow. Usually we're live every day on the CranKy Ducklings, sometimes multiple times a day, but tomorrow is going to be different. Originally, we were going to cast some Home Story Cup replays. We're going to cast some Home Story Cup replays tomorrow, and maybe some team games as well. But something else is going on. Tomorrow is day 1 of the Africa Champions Cup. Do I have a link for you guys? Africa Champions Cup. Hold on, I want to say it's on Twitter. Need to find this. There we go. So yeah, tomorrow is day 1 of the Africa Champions Cup, and I'm going to be casting it. I'm going to be casting day 1, not day 2, but going to be at least covering day number 1. Hold on, let's see if I got you guys. And I believe I'm going to be casting Group A and Group B as we switch our scenes over. As we switch our scenes over here, and we can all have a look together. There. Bam. Oh, there we go. There we go. These are the groups here. These are the groups of the Africa Champions Cup. Group A is Dark, Hero Marine, Ragnarok, and Solar. Group B, Serral, Classic, Oliveira, and Raynor. Group C, Maru, Lambo, Max Pax, and Björn. And Group D, Cure, Showtime, Hero, and Clem. So day 1 is going to be the first 2 groups, and day 2 is going to be the second 2 groups. I'm not too sure who's casting day 2, but I will be casting day 1 over on Africa, not on Twitch. So I do apologize. I know that if you're international, Africa isn't the best platform, isn't the easiest platform to use. But Africa, they are hosting, they're running this event, so the cast is going to be over on their platform. So yeah, if you're interested, going to be casting this tournament over there on the Africa channel. I believe I'm casting day 1, and I'm also casting day 3. I think I'm also casting day 3. Final day, which is going to be brutal. So I'm more than up for the I'll do it. I'm more than up for the task. But from my understanding, these are going to be 8-hour broadcasts, and they're only going to have 2 casters. So it's going to be me and my co-caster, or the main caster, I should say, the main Maturino caster. So it's going to be some long days. It's gonna be some long days, Papi. Thankfully, I have a day break in between, but when I say a day break, day 2, we're gonna be casting KSL anyway, so obviously we're still gonna be casting here. But yeah, from my understanding, these are gonna be like 8 or so hour broadcasts. Every game is gonna be casted, every match is gonna be casted, and we're gonna be, at least in day 1, covering all of Group A and all of Group B. And day 3, it's going to be the entirety of the playoff bracket. So the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the grand finals. As our top two from each of these groups make it through. So I'm a little bit anxious. Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit anxious. Mainly, I think I'm anxious because I'm not going to be handling the production. It's going to be someone else. It's going to be the Maturino caster, of course. I say Maturino. It's the hold on. Do I know who it is? It's gonna be Kozan. Shout out to Kozan, by the way. So yeah, he's gonna be the main caster, and he's gonna be organizing the production and the observing and all that stuff. And he's gonna be leading the show. And I've never casted with Kozan before. I never casted, so it's gonna be a first for me. It's gonna be a first. And I think that's what I'm a little bit nervous about. I don't know how well we're gonna gel. I'm not too familiar with Kozan's casting, so yeah, it's going to be an interesting time, and hopefully a good time. Like, something that I shouldn't be worried about is the games. The games are going to be amazing. I mean, these are literally the best of the best in the world. We even have Oliveira. Oliveira wasn't even there for ESL Masters Summer. So I know the game's going to be good, and hopefully we have a good time. Oh boy, I just, yeah, I'm a little bit anxious about casting with a new person for the first time, and also just the length of the broadcast. I hope I'm able to keep my energy levels up throughout the entirety of the show. The last thing I would want, especially day 3, that's what's really concerning to me. Day 3, like 7 hours in, we're gonna be casting like the finals, and I don't want to be like low energy for the finals, you know, like. So tomorrow I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna buy some Red Bulls. I'm gonna just like invest in as much caffeine as I can. Gonna make sure I'm well rested, all that good stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be a long weekend. It's gonna be an intense weekend for the CranKy Ducklings, or for myself at least for myself. But we are still going to be casting here on the CranKy Ducklings. Again, Saturday is going to be KSL. Saturday is also GPO. So I think I'm casting 2 events on Saturday, and Sunday is going to be the Sparkling Tuna Cup. Now, Sparkling Tuna Cup and this Africa tournament, they're going to clash, so I won't be casting the Sparkling Tuna Cup. I believe Yaku and Asher, they're going to be casting the Sparkling Tuna Cup instead. So this channel will still be live. This channel will be live at the time. It was a little bit short notice that I was contacted for this. Otherwise, we probably would have rescheduled Sparkling Tuna Cup. But we already posted signups, and we've been putting the Sparkling Tuna Cup on hiatus for a little bit, so we didn't want to make the players wait any longer. So we're still going to be running Sparkling Tuna Cup at the same time as this, but of course this event is going to run longer. It's going to run longer. So yeah, just so you know, just so you know. Oh boy. So yeah, it's going to be quite a weekend, and consider checking out the channel in Africa. It's going to be I think africa.tv/Matcherino. Let me just look for. Let me see if I can find. God, Champions Cup. Let's see if I can find you the link, the URL. I'll send you guys the link just in case you want to. Just in case you want to have it bookmarked. All that good stuff. There you go. Just get your chains out. True. Aye. Pace yourself. Yeah. I know. I liked it when you were chained up. You're all animals. You're animals. Limbo picking Max Facts is also surprised. True. Yeah. They did have group selection. But yeah. The channel that this is going to be streamed on is linked in the chat if you're interested. Oh boy. You have nothing to lose but your chains. Oh, but I don't want to lose my chains though. Oh my god. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty intense weekend. That's what my schedule is looking like, and I think the biggest thing for me is just sleeping. I just need to adjust my sleep schedule for this, so I'm going to have to intentionally try to wake up at like 6 p.m. or something. Like yeah. I need as much sleep as possible and make sure I have as much energy as possible. So yeah, outside of that, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast, enjoyed the matches. Hope you guys enjoyed KSL. Again, the next KSL is in 2 days. So if you're maybe not willing to watch a broadcast on Africa, well, we got you covered with some Korean Starcraft League action as well. So there's plenty going on. But with that, thank you so much everyone for watching. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys had a great time. If you want to follow the CranKy Ducklings ! Socials in the chats, we have it all. We got the Patreon, we got the Twitter, we got the Facebook, we got the Instagram. We have a YouTube channel where we upload on a daily basis as well. Our YouTube uploads are a little bit behind because we cast multiple times a day and we only upload one broadcast a day. So our YouTube uploads are a couple of months behind actually. I think like 2 or 3 months. Unfortunately, but we still upload on a daily basis, so we got you covered there. So if you're interested in watching some of this but not live, because we're not live when you're awake or when you're available, YouTube is the place to be. Yeah, outside of that, I do stream on my personal channel from time to time, stream on light_VIP, but I haven't been streaming recently just because we've been so busy casting. Maybe when we have a little bit of a break from casting, then I'll stream more on Twitch. I'll do my best. Do my best to be more consistent with my personal streams. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. Stick around. We're going to be giving another streamer a raid. Another StarCraft 2 streamer. Who is it going to be? I don't know. We'll raid with someone. Someone worthwhile, I'm sure. So give them a chance. Give them some support. Quickly double checking. Who is streaming right now? Roddy is live, Lurko is live, Wardy is live, casting his own event. But we tried to raid smaller streamers. Ragnarok is live. Oh. Hello. I haven't seen Ragnarok stream in a while. So you know what? It was the KSL. It was the Korean Starcraft League. Gotta give Ragnarok a little bit of love. Can he speak English? Does he? We'll find out. We will find out. So thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the support. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, bye.